In today's video, I'm going to be making a Rengoku build in Elden Ring. But before we continue, there will be spoilers for the anime. But with that done, first up, I needed to look the part. And so here's Rengoku in the character customization. From some angles, he does look a bit weird, but he does look very anime-esque, so moving on. I'm also taking Samurai here because I need the extra Uchi Katana for this build. Next up, we needed to get his clothes. And for the bottoms of the Demon Slayer uniform, I had chosen the Oathseeker Nightgreaves. So for this, I had to kill Mohg and access the DLC. Then after a bit of traveling, I made my way into the Church of Benediction and picked up the set. So with that done, the first half of the clothes were complete. Next up, to try and match Rengoku's Hoarah, I wanted the Fire Knight armor, which means I needed to kill Rennala in order to gain access to the Shadow Keep. And then once I made it there, I also needed to kill the Golden Hippo. So now I had access to the storehouse and there were many Fire Knights around here. And after doing the necessary grinding and painstaking battles, I had finally got the drop I wanted. Therefore, I had my armor complete and I was ready to move on to the flame breathing moves, starting with the first form, Unknowing Fire. This is where Rengoku dashes forwards and does a singular horizontal slash, and for this I decided a Bloodhound step comboing into a Katana M1 would be the right fit, which meant I had to go over to the Knights Cavalry in Caelid and defeat him in order to get the Bloodhound step Ash of War. I also needed the Red Hot Wet Blade to put flame art on my weapons, so I fought my way through Redmane Castle and eventually picked up the Wet Blade from this building. But now that that was out of the way, it was time to move on to second form Rising Scorching Sun, where Rengoku does an upwards vertical slash, and for this I had chosen the Ash of War sword dance. But first, before I picked that up, I needed to head to the Death Touch Catacombs to obtain a second Uchi Katana, which was pretty easy. So now that that's done, I headed over to Liurnia of the Lakes and killed this Teardrop Scarab to get the Ash of War. And after giving this move a try, it was time to move on to third form Blazing Universe, where Rengoku does a downwards vertical slash. And for this, the perfect Ash of War would be the Unsheath Heavy attack. But first, I needed yet another Katana, and sadly this meant that Yura had to die so I could get the Nagakiba. And now that that was done, I headed over to Limgrave to kill this Teardrop Scarab to obtain the Unsheath Ash of War, which I was very quick to test out on this crab. And now it was time to move on to the fourth form, Blooming Flame Undulation, where Rengoku does singular or multiple slashes in a circular motion. And for this, I had chosen the Ash of War Spinning Slash. Therefore, I was headed over to the War Master's shack to buy the Ash of War. And from this point onwards, I will have to replace Ash of Wars on the current katanas I already have to make up the forms. But now it was time to move on to the fifth form, Flame Tiger, where Rengoku dashes forward and does multiple slashes. And for this, I couldn't find anything that was a perfect match, so I had to bite the bullet and decide on using double slash for this form, which meant heading into Celia Town of Sorcery, jumping on a couple of rooftops until I finally found this Teardrop Scarab and killed it for the Ash of War. And I then followed up by testing this move on a couple of the mobs nearby. Next up, it was time to get Rengoku's final move, ninth form Rengoku, which is a high-speed dash into many slashes. And sadly, I can't quite get the slashes part of this move, but I can get an anime-esque high-speed dash. And that's with the Ash of War, the Poisoned Flower blooms twice. But sadly, I found out for this move that you cannot apply the flame art affinity to your katana. Therefore, I put the keen affinity on my katana for the dexterity scaling and used fire greases to make up for the lack of flame arts, which you can see me testing on these enemies in the Gatefront ruins, and I can say at least the speed of this move does match the ninth form. Next up, I wanted to add an extra move in here, and that's the Ash of War Flaming Strike, because this seems very much like something Rengoku would use, and you can almost pass it off as a pseudo first form. Therefore, for this, I had to head to the outside of the Redmane Castle and kill this Teardrop Scarab in the graveyard, which I then very quickly tested the move out on the enemies inside the castle. So now that all of the attacks were complete, it was time to mix my Wondrous physic. And for the first half of this, I had chosen the Flame Shrouding Cracked Tear, which is obtained from killing this putrid avatar in Caelid. And with this extra pseudo first form, it was very easy to kill the putrid avatar, and I had the first half complete. So then it was time to move on to the second half, and for this I had chosen the Crimson Bubble Tear. And my reasoning for this is Rengoku managed to survive for a very long time at near death against Akaza. So I headed over to the mountaintops of the Giants and very easily killed the Erdtree avatar there, which is kind of insane just how powerful Flaming Strike was against these guys. And I'll run the full clip because it really was a no diff against what is meant to be one of the more difficult Erdtree avatars. So now that I'd completed the Wondrous physic, my build was complete and it was time to head into New Game Plus.
Set your heart ablaze.
We're in, and before I went into this New Game Plus, I forgot to change my moves back around. So I've got my pseudo first form, my fifth form, and my ninth form. So I guess let's just see how this goes. We'll start with the fifth. Let's do this. Go! Flame Tiger, which did 1,000 damage. That's pretty nice. Honestly, kind of want to use one more of those. Right after he misses this. All right, we're going in. Flame Tiger, let's do it. 1,000 damage again. And then we use our pseudo first form after this guy stops being a Beyblade. All right, go. Flaming Strike. And we attack through it. Okay, I completely missed. That's fine. We'll land the next one any moment now. Here we go. First form again. 1,700 damage. That's kind of insane. And I don't want to waste any fire greases against this guy, so I am just going to kill him with a light attack. And his time is up now. Goodbye. Only 690 damage. I'm kind of alarmed by that. This could spell bad things for later on in the video. But it's time to head over to Margit and swap my moves back around. I'm ready, and I've got my first form, second form, and third form for this Margit fight. So let's see how we do. I need to remember exactly how this works. After this dodge, first form, go, unknowing fire. Why did I... Bloodhound step went backwards. You joking? Go forward. Unknowing fire. Only 500 damage. I guess that's what you have to expect when you have some swaz like this. What am I doing? Why have I got moves like that, though? Let's see. What do you think of this? I'm going straight in. And then I'm out without him even touching me. And then we go back in again. And then we keep dashing around. First form. We're throwing him for loops right now. Actually, kind of in love with this. Even though it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Very fun move. How about second form? Rising Scorching Sun. 1,500 damage. We'll take that. And then third form. Dodge this. Blazing Universe. 1,700 damage. That's kind of crazy, though. And another Blazing Universe. Oh, I failed to dodge that. But that's fine. Let's just get some of my FP back up. And I think I'm going to end this with some swagger. Do people say that anymore? I don't think people say swagger anymore. But let's go. First form. And then we go again. Bad timing. But I still managed to get away with it. And somehow killed him with that light attack. That was a whole lot easier than I ever expected. And I still haven't used my Wondrous physic yet. But now we're already at Godrick with my 4th form, 5th form, and 9th form. So let's see how this does. Blooming Flame Undulation, go! The whole thing! 1,400 damage, not bad. And then we have seen a bit of 5th form damage, but it's only fair that we try them in numerical order. 5th form, and we go for another one. Flame Tiger. Oh, I missed half the move, but that's fine. What if I just keep running around this guy? Will he not be able to hit me if I just stay at his back? That's actually kind of insane. Godrick, you suck, man. And just for that, you're getting hit with another Flame Tiger. Oh, he's smacked me in the face. And I know we won't do an insane amount of damage here because I'm sure he has some sort of flame resistances, but we're going to try our 9th form on him. Let's do this, Rengoku. Oh, I've knocked him into a second phase. Let's do it again. More Rengokus. Maybe just a couple of normal hits now, actually. I'm coming back in for him. I'm coming back in. And we do another 9th form. And then one more. But I have already ran out of FP. So I think before I go into the Red Wolf of Radagon fight, I will need to change over a couple of my flasks. But the damage is kind of insane right now. Oh, we deal with this easy. Easy. I jumped too early. Okay, yeah, no, I shouldn't have said easy. However, I have chosen my favorite move out of this lineup. And that is the Flame Tiger. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We're getting a bit too close there. Try it. I'm moving in. Okay, I am severely messing up my dodge timings, but we are finishing it with a light hit from the looks of it. I thought Flame Tiger would do it, but we killed him with a light hit. I think I am free for free with killing the bosses with light hits, but I'm sure that will change in the next fight. For this next fight, I have chosen my favorite form so far, and that's my normal first form, my second variation of the first form, and my third form. I don't think this wolf is going to have a chance, if I'm being honest. But let's start off with putting the skills on him. What are you going to do against this? See, just when he thinks I'm going to get hit by those, dodge it with the first form, dodge it again. Then we go back in, start dicing him up. You think you're getting me with that? And now that we've used the first variation of the first form, we wait for this to be over and we do our second variation of it with a heavy hit. And it's an easy dodge. And I'm not going to lie, I think this guy is now dead in the next hit. Yep. And there we go. Blazing Universe takes him out. That's probably the fastest. Hey, what is this guy's problem? Who do you think you are? Try that again. I dare you. Yeah, and what? And what? Do another one. I dare you. First form. And you're gone. Don't test me, man. Don't test Rengoku. Look at me. I got skills like this. Okay, we're now at the point where I need to start thinking smart about the forms I bring. Now, sadly, I have to keep bringing Flame Art Affinity on all of my moves, or else I wouldn't really be the Flame Hasherer, would I? So we are going to lose out on damage there. But we've got our first form for dodging all of the different spells that Malenia is going to cast. We have our third form because it's quite a fast move to cast. And we've got our fourth form because it probably feels left out. However, for now, I need to get this fight over and done with. So we'll just give him a light hit and we give him more light hits. There's no way. He's parrying me there. I'm actually almost dead. Okay, quick, a potion. Boom, first form. Okay, I think that's how we're going to beat this guy. Come on, get him with it. And then just when he thinks I can't close the distance, I can. Oh, he smacked me in the face. Somehow his poise beat mine. But there we go. First form has taken care of it. And I've got 5 flasks going into Rennala's fight. So let's see how we do. Unironically, this is probably going to be easier than the Moongram fight that I just did, because I am notoriously bad at PvP. in this game. So I'm hoping here that I should beat this first phase immediately. I really don't want to have to go around and hit all these people again to knock Rennala down. But if we get a hemorrhage build up, there it is. We're on to the second phase just like that. And it is here where we'll take advantage of the first form. Just somehow went straight underneath it there. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when the first form is coming around? Try get me with a spinning weapon. I dare you. And then we close the distance again. Oh, okay. She got me with that, though. Okay, I've let myself get hit a couple of times here. Maybe we need to stop using the first form so much. It isn't the cure-all. And we're on to the third form. And that was a lot of damage. We got to keep that up. Blazing Universe. Oh, Jesus. We're down to 2 flasks. I believe in us here. I think I can use 1 more Blazing Universe before I need to use my FP flasks. So let's go. There it was. And I was wrong. I needed to use an FP flask before then. Oh, I can deal with this. I can deal with this. There we go. We close the gap. We go back in. And then we third form it. Just to finish this off, we will use a 4th form because this move has been getting neglected like crazy. And there it is. We have beat Rennala while at quite the disadvantage. You know, I am very surprised I haven't had to use my Wondrous physic yet. And I'm already all the way into the capital. However, I think in this next one, I will be using my Wondrous physic straight away. As for the forms I've brought, I have my first form, second variation, my second form, and my 5th form. Not really any particular reasons as to why I've chosen these, but they're all kind of cool. So we'll just go with that. All right, let's start with the pseudo first form. Then once I get in, we run a very quick Wondrous physic, and we start this. His first move is just completely failing. Pseudo first form, go. I only hit 1/2 of the form, but from the 1/2 I hit, that's pretty good damage. Let's try it again. Nice little light hit there, although I did get myself whapped. First form, go. That's so unlucky. I really want to hit this full thing on him. Go. Nice. 1.9 thousand. That's definitely the damage of the Wondrous physic coming through there. And after he does his next little set of moves, I think I can do it now. Second form. Big damage. 1,300. Let's do it again. Rising Scorching Sun. That is ridiculous. I'm so thankful that I am at the point in these fights where I can just stat check the bosses and trade hits, because some of these moves you kind of have to take hits in order to land them. But let's end this any moment now after he finishes doing some combos with a 5th form Flame Tiger. And we have dusted all of these bosses up so far quite easily. I haven't felt much resistance from them at all. However, I think now we're at a point in the game where I need to start thinking tactically. Therefore, we have our real first form for dodging, our 3rd form for just raw damage, and the 9th form because I've been neglecting it. So it's the moment of truth. Let's see how we do. And I should probably use this before I go in. So there we go. And we're ready. Oh no, I'm not ready. Hold on, time out. I have the wrong move on. And I don't even have my flash set up. There we go. First form. Oh, that's massive. That makes everything so much easier to dodge when you're not throwing yourself into his moves. And now when he comes up, we make the move for the first form. That was my bad. Now we go for a first form. Never mind. It's gonna work out eventually. Like now. Okay, that was also a bad idea from me. I'm not quite getting my timings right, and I did just burn my Crimson Bubble Tear. Why do I always struggle against this boss? I don't think this is a problem with the build anymore. I think this is a problem with me just not understanding how to fight Morgott. This isn't fair. I won't rest until I hit a better first form on him. I understand I managed to hit one earlier. There we go, that's one. And then we go again. We're letting them flow now. And another. Into a second form. All right, let's run back. Now let's start changing tactics here. We're on to the 3rd form, and things might get rough for us. But this is where our pure damage comes in. That's a big dodge. 3rd form. Oh my god, we just need like 2 more of those and he's dead. Another 3rd form. This is beautiful. And I've dodged too early, but that's fine. It's understandable because we are piling on so much damage right now. Before we kill this guy, I need to hit a 9th form though. So we'll get off a good dodge here. This will be it. 1, 2... Okay, I knew the timing on that move, but for some reason, it didn't work out. All right, any moment now. Now we go for it. And I missed. Now we go for it while I'm on 1 HP. And we did manage to hit one, but that just hardly did any damage, to be honest. I wish I could have found a more damaging move to do the 9th form justice. But now we're on to our last flask and a sliver of health left. But I believe in us here. 1, 2, 3rd form, and it's over. It's over while I am on, like, no health left. However, I will say, trying to hit the 9th form did make me lose, like, half my flasks. If I had just done that whole fight with my 3rd form, I don't think we would have had much of a problem. And with those fights out of the way, I was onto the Fire Giant and Godskin Duo boss fights. And as you can imagine, I'm the Flame Hasherer against a Fire Giant, so it wasn't too fun. As for the Godskin Duo fight, they're always a hassle, so I didn't talk through either of the bosses. But we did eventually beat them, and I was onto the Maliketh fight. I'm here and I'm ready. We've got the first form form, third form, and fifth form. I don't think I'm going to be changing these up for the rest of the video because what we've got ahead of us is some difficult fights. And straight away, I am starting out with one of those. And we're going first form. Dodge him. We're back in on it. Okay, we've had a decent start. And another first form. It's very good for dodging. Oh my god, how did I dodge that? But it just doesn't do much damage. However, against Maliketh, that's probably not so bad. It feels so fluid. Like I can just dash around him and stick with him. This guy can't run away from me. Although, it's only going to be a matter of time for when I get hit by this guy. But I will say I'm probably going to stick with this first form up until I get to the actual Maliketh phase of this fight. And there's our first hit. You know what? I'm quite impressed that Rengoku has managed to stop me from getting hit for that long. Oh, and there goes our Crimson Bubble Tear. We are now burning through health. But hopefully, any moment now, there we go. We're on to the Maliketh phase, which I think I'm going to use my third form for. Okay, after I dodge some moves. What do you got for me? What do you got? Are you going to be able to last against all this damage, Maliketh? I don't think so. And he has already managed to knock me down to 5 flasks. However, he is looking very low. Come on, what you got for me? What you got? I know you're not ready for an Unsheath Heavy. Oh, he was. But he's not ready for a second Unsheath Heavy. And then, just to mix it up, we go fifth form Flame Tiger. Oh, it didn't kill him. That's fine. I'm sure we'll get him here. Let's wrap it up. Flame Tiger. And he's gone. Honestly, that didn't go as bad as I thought it would. And it's looking like our third form damage is just carrying right now. Now that we're coming up to Gideon, I don't think I'm going to be changing these forms because my Bloodhound Step allows me to stay with him. My Unsheath is just going to keep the guy knocked down for a very long time. And this fifth form has somewhat of a mobility to it as well. But I think the best thing to start off with is raw damage. All right, let's do this. Pop one of these. Then we run up and we just start ruining this guy before he can cast a spell. There we go. Another Unsheath. I need to make sure he cannot get away from me here. Please stop this, man. Stop this, man. Don't cast anything. Don't think about it. There we go. We're keeping him back to the corner. We're still keeping him back to the corner, although I'm going to take a bit of damage here. Please. Oh, no, I'm running out. I ran out of my stamina. Okay, now it's time to swap to the first form. If I want a chance here, that's what I'm going to need to do. Go. We're going straight in. I just need to close one more gap. Through here. And through again. We got him. It did take a couple more flasks than I was expecting and wasn't as fast as I was hoping for, but we did kill him. Okay, let's see how Godfrey's going to do against this setup. So we got our Unsheath ready. Honestly, I think the third form's going to carry me here. I haven't been able to find anything else that does nearly as much damage and can be used as fast as this Ash of War. I just need to not fail myself here because I have been known to throw this fight quite a lot of times. Okay, there goes our Crimson Bubble Tear. And then we do another Unsheath Heavy. And we poise broke him. I think that's the first time we got a stance break on any boss. Timed the jump perfectly. Can I get back in there and force him into his Hoarah Loux phase? You know, I'm not doing too bad here. Oh my god, he's actually into his Hoarah Loux phase already. How am I actually doing this? Normally I have lost so much more HP by this point. Oh, I'm gonna lose more now. Surprisingly, not as much as I thought. I may actually have a shot at making this like one of my record-breaking Godfrey runs. Okay, I'm ready for this. I was not ready for it. I have managed to take a whole load of damage. Why did I do that? Why did I run into him? Somehow I managed to actually survive that. Come on, what have you got? Just you wait for when Rengoku smacks you with his third form right after you're done using this move. Go! Bro, what did they do to Akaza, man? Why is he so much more powerful all of a sudden? Please, third form again. I just need one more. I need to just survive one last hit and this is all over. And we can correct the Rengoku versus Akaza fight. Oh, that's it. That's our opening. I don't know why he chose to use that grab after completely throwing me across the ring for a couple minutes. But he did, and it let us win. So I'll take that. We got the good ending against Akaza, but we're not done there. We have one final fight left to go for Elden Lord. All right, let's do this, Radagon. I need my first form. Where's my first form? There it is. Now I'll be ready to react. Go! Okay, so it looks like our first form isn't as great as I thought it would be. It looks like Radagon does quite well against our first form. Oh, I was not ready for that part of his attack. Dodge that with the first form. Oh, I started running away then. I didn't mean to, but we dodged that with a first form. It is really looking like third form is the best thing we can be choosing to fight with here. I don't think there's anything better because look at all this damage I'm getting. 1.7k. You know, this build does kind of seem quite powerful now. I don't think I've seen this kind of damage numbers against Radagon before. I don't think he's very resistant to flame though. And I don't know how I've managed to get away with running straight through. I must have made his attack invalid from killing him. But now we're on to the real secret behind the Elden Lord here, who I'm pretty sure doesn't get completely railed by flame arts here, which is quite annoying. However, we still have a lot of damage on our moves. Like right there with our 1.2 thousand damage. I'm ready for that one. And I'm ready for a follow-up. Easy dodging. Another 1.2 thousand. And while he runs away, we flask up. Something tells me this guy does not have a chance. And I'm ready for that move. And I'm going to predict where he goes. I reckon he's going behind me. He's going to teleport over here. I feel it. He did. He did. I got it right. Look, I'm in your head, Elden Beast. I'm in your head. There's nothing you can do against this. And another third form. Blazing Universe. Can we get a stance break if I just keep spamming them out? We got one. If I can get into this animation, then I won't get hit by this move that he just sent off. But sadly, I couldn't avoid the whole thing, so I have lost a flask there. And I'm on to my final FP flask as well, which I think is more than enough to deal with this guy. Go for it. That's 1.1 thousand. What happened to my extra 100 damage? Did this guy just suddenly get extra resistances? Oh, easy dodge. I don't even think he hit me with that. I was just like underneath his arm. And we're just sending so many Blazing Universe forms into this guy. But you know what? We'll let him do one final move before I hit him with the 5th form. Okay. If I just run back from that, I completely counter it. Easy. Flame Tiger, go. That is the end of it all. And I wasn't even two-handing the sword for that. Kind of my bad, but we still killed him. I am kind of disappointed that he decided to use a very easy move to dodge for his final move. But you know, moving on. It's time to look at the build. Starting off with the stats, I went faith heavy because I had flame arts and I went for dexterity as well. As for everything else, I needed endurance to carry the katanas and some extra mind to be able to use all of my Ash of Wars. As for our build, we've got a flame art Uchi katana with Bloodhound Step on it and an M1 for the first form. A flame art Uchi katana and the Ash of War Sword Dance on it for the second form. A Flame Art Nagakiba and the Ash of War Unsheathe on it for the third form. Flame Art Uchigatana with the Spinning Slash Ash of War on it for the fourth form. Flame Art Uchigatana with the Double Slash Ash of War on it for the fifth form. And a Key Nagakiba with the Ash of War the Poison Flower Blooms twice, combined with a Flame Grease for the ninth form. And then for our extra move, a Flame Art Uchigatana with the Flaming Strike Ash of War on it. As for the clothing, we got the Fire Knight Armor, Oathseeker Knight Greaves. Then for the talismans, we've got Radagon Saw Seal, Two-Handed Sword Talisman, Shard of Alexander, and the Fire Scorpion Charm. As for the Wondrous Physic, we had the Flame Shrouding Crack tier and the Crimson Bubble tier. And that's the build. We managed to beat the entire game with a Rengoku build. Alright, anyway, see ya.